with Sandra Pike from Roll Page Atlantic and the Pike Group here in Halifax. And today, for me, has been about interviewing agents in other parts of the country just to see what's happening in their neck of the woods, in real estate. And especially now, Canada, the Bank of Canada just, came out yesterday. Our rate now is 4.7. The stress test you have to qualify at 6.7. But enough about that before we get into the meat and potatoes. I am going to get our next guest to introduce themselves.
Hi Sandra, it's Josh Kepkay here with McDonald Realty in Vancouver, British Columbia. We're going coast to coast right now between the two
Yes,
of
we
us.
are.
And
Almost, because you got to be Newfoundland, right?
fair enough, fair enough. Well, sorry, I'm on the West Coast.
Yeah, there's nothing past here, right?
Yeah, exactly. Nothing past. Yeah, we tend to stay in the Lower Mainland here. So
Yeah,
that's me over here in Vancouver, BC.
good stuff. So, how long have you been in real estate now?
I've been working in real estate for 7 years now.
Lucky seven. And are you getting the itch to change, or are you still in it for the long haul?
No, I don't know what else I would do other than real estate at this point. I mean, do you feel that way?
I will be 12 years actually on Friday. You know what? I love what I do. I mean, it's had its ups and downs, and we've had to pivot several times, but I like the challenge. It's good.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so let's get in. So, do you in Vancouver where you are, or do you specify in a particular niche of real estate that you sell, like investments, or are you just resale or whatever comes your way?
I would love to tell you that I have some hyper niche market, but I cover the greater Vancouver market and I try not to go too far outside of that bubble unless things are a little slower and you have time to service some of those clients further in the suburbs. But generally, resale market for houses, townhomes, condos, all things residential and in the greater Vancouver area.
Perfect. Talk to me about the market last year and where it is this year. Like, what was the average price last year for you?
Wow. Well, you know what? Let me maybe speak of it in sort of right now and where prices are up from now because I'm preparing for this. You know, you asked me is prices different than 2021, and we are up in our average prices versus this time last year in 2021 by for detached properties. Average price we're up 6.5%, and that's sitting at about $2 million right now for a detached
Wow.
house in the Greater Vancouver area. Townhomes, similar story. We are up 17% on. I've got the percentage numbers in front of me, but not the actual values. I'll tell you, a townhome would go for about 1.3, 1.4.
Wow.
Vancouver, yeah, and condos. The your general run-of-the-mill condo, downtown one bed could be 650, 750 is even sort of a good number to look at, and those are up about 11 or 12%. But from the peak of the market earlier this year, which was kind of February, March, we're down maybe a percent or two, and in some of the further suburb areas, 10 to 15% actually.
I'm just back to your, $2 million single detached. So I spoke with Trish Kondo today in Bolton. So they're at 1.7. And I spoke with Shelley Williamson in Georgetown. I think she said 1.1.
Mm.
And here in Halifax, we're 500,000. So what a big disparity, across the country. Um, so where would your buyers be coming from? Are they local buyers from other parts of Canada, outside the country?
Great question. We have tons of in-migration from all over Canada, regularly from places like Quebec and Alberta and Ontario. Lots coming internationally from India, from France, from China's obviously one that people always talk about.
Yep.
We've seen a bump in Hong Kong over the last couple of years. But we do have foreign buyer taxes, so a lot of the time those
Mm.
new arrivals have to rent for a couple of the years, or at least until they get a permanent residency, and then they can buy. So people come
Oh,
from all
good.
over to be in. It's a special place.
Now, when you are on the buy side or you're on the listing side, are you finding yourself now in competitive offers?
Really depends on the product type. I just a couple days ago, or Monday this week, did end up in a bidding situation for a 2-bedroom condo that was up by the University of British Columbia. That's a niche area where people are looking to get something for their kids before school because the rents are up 15%. The rents are actually the craziest market right now. And so there was 4 offers on that, and we didn't get it because the person buying didn't realize that, some things, when they look too good to be true, they are. But so it really
Mm.
depends.
So, speaking with the other two ladies today, they said, we were talking about conditions that now buyers were able to, okay, it's going to take me 5 days to meet conditions because I'm able now to, get a home inspector
Mhm.
to come in and get the finance. Is that happening with you?
Yes, conditions are going to be happening now. The offer that won in this bidding war did have condition to finance.
The other was interesting. Speaking with Shelley in Georgetown, she spoke about some of their deals falling at closing
Mm.
because they didn't appraise out. So usually when we write an offer here, I mean, is it appraised right away? I mean, there is a backlog, I'll be honest, but not to the point where it's going out a couple of months and then the house isn't appraising out. So we don't get that long. Are you experiencing the same, like with appraisals falling?
I think there's a bit of that going around. I personally haven't had that on any of my transactions. It depends if you have a really long closing and maybe the bank then wants to reappraise it. But
Hmm.
generally, the appraisal is going to happen within a week of an offer getting accepted if you have before the financing conditions removed if you have it on there. So not as
And that
much
would
of
be the
that.
same for us.
Yeah, not as much of that. I think Ontario's got much better data than British Columbia does, and probably the same for where you are.
So, what is the average time on market now? Do you have that stat by any chance? Like,
It's like 2 weeks right now, generally speaking.
so would you be in a housing crisis the way we are here in Halifax?
Oh, it's just a. Can you call something a crisis if it's perpetual? Like, it's not something that's going to end. You know, I can tell you things are going 2 weeks, but usually they would go in a week or 6 days. Really, not a lot's moving in terms of product. A lot of buyers have just taken a step to the side to wait to see what happens with interest rates. They're going on holidays for the summer. I don't know about you, but I've done a bit of that. So why not? It's the first time in a few years people are traveling internationally. So not a lot of volume. Values have sort of held. They just take a bit longer to sell. Um,
Mhm.
and that's kind of the current situation.
Would you see many properties going over asking if they're being held on the market, let's say for 2 weeks or more?
No, not that's not going to happen. I think what you might see is, as in with this 2-bedroom, they'll lower the, like this one started at 899, then went to 929, then they reduced it to 799, and I think it's selling for around 850 right now. It depends on if how you do your pricing strategy, but not really is it going to be on the market for 2 weeks at a certain price and then sell above that price.
And I would say the same thing is happening here. Like we're seeing more price drops, but just to give you, an idea, back, I would say it was this year. So we had a little baby split, 1,200 square feet,
Hmm.
dated, listing at 279, selling for 500,000. So any house now on that street, for them to reach $500,000 for a selling price, I don't think it's happening.
Hmm.
This year or next year. I think it's going to be a while for the rest of the market to catch up to that 500,000.
Yeah.
Would the market have to, like the high market prices there? Would the neighbor have to wait to catch up a little bit, or is it just going to continue in your market?
Long term, yes. It's purely supply and demand. We're not building enough supply. The government's just trying to stamp out demand for the time being. But we have a very steady population increase, and there's the trades aren't there to build it. The
No.
government takes too long. An interesting difference between our markets that I might just note is that, and I forgot about this, having spoken with other agents further afield like yourself. You guys have smaller houses than we do. Like our houses are maybe 2,400 square feet on usually, if not up to 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 square feet because you got to build the size to justify the obscene pricing, right?
Yeah. Well, I would say the new houses that are being built. I would say, for example, I live in West Bedford, and most of the brand new, let's say, two stories that are being built, they would be over 2,000. On the executive streets that are within the subdivision,
Mm.
they would be starting at 4,000, going up to probably 7,000 square feet. But that would be in the newer executive streets that are in West Bedford. But I would say the newer houses probably 2,000,
Okay.
and but yeah, but the older houses would be up to 2,000. My thoughts are from what I based on what I've seen over the years. But what would you tell a buyer now? If they were to go purchase something, would you tell them to wait and see what happens with the interest rates? Or are you telling them, my God, get out there and buy now? What are you saying to your
Yeah.
clients?
Great question. I think it depends if they're going buying to live in it. If you're buying to live in it, now's a great time to go find a motivated seller and be choosy, throw out low ball offers, but you got to put in the work to go and get that deal. And you might
Mhm.
find something special. I'm seeing a lot of estate sales lately, power of attorneys. Um,
Oh, really? Okay.
but yeah, so people that have to sell. Otherwise, if you're looking to invest in a property, I actually was thinking about that a couple months ago. Almost bought a pre-sale a month ago. Better to wait. Better to wait 6, 9, 12 months. I think there's going to be some more, let's say, opportunities.
Okay. So do you think with the Bank of Canada coming out yesterday and, going up 100 basis points, is that going to change the market there, or it's not even really going to make a big difference? I mean, especially if you're buying 2 million, right?
Yeah, for those big mortgages, that's a lot of money. I think it's definitely impacting the market in quieting demand, furthering buyers to the sidelines. However, I just don't think it's going to hold out at those higher interest rates. I would imagine they're going to come down next year, and I encourage people to look longer term. So, but people have to buy and sell and move, and the people that I have in my, as clients, they just need somewhere to live. And if you're buying and selling, and it doesn't really matter. You're just trading one for one.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, Josh, thank you so much for your time today. This has been really interesting for me today, just to hear about all the different markets, and the price points are just wild. How they differ, and even in Toronto, like how they're differing. But I mean, from a half a million on our coast to 2 million out your way, that is wow. That's certainly an eye opener for sure.
I know. Maybe I should sell my townhome and move over there. Maybe I got
Exactly.
that. Well, thank you so much. What a privilege.
Oh, yes,
Great
thank you
time.
too.